Teaching for 10 years is not easy. There will really come a time wherein you will feel what you're doing is routinary. What you're doing is not worth it.
At any point in time during your teaching career, did you ever consider quitting?
Honestly, yes.
Picture yourself back in high school, seeing your teachers stand in front of the entire class, doing their best to teach. We often celebrate teachers for their dedication, but rarely do we ever talk about the pressure, the exhaustion, and personal sacrifices that come with the job. Today, you will hear the unfiltered perspective of my former high school teacher in the Philippines after teaching for 10 years. In a previous video, he opened up about why he started teaching at just 19 years old. So be sure to check that out as well, link in the description box below. So, if stories like this resonate with you, I'd highly appreciate it if you can hit subscribe. Now let's hear what my teacher has to share.
Now you've talked about the fulfilling part of being a teacher. On the flip side, there are some things that students don't really see as teachers, right? So, what are some struggles that students normally don't see in teachers?
Probably
It's a deep one, right?
yeah. It's, ano ba? Usually the struggles that students do not see, probably, siguro when students are still in high school, I don't know if they do not see. Probably they're just not expressive. But maybe what I can say is they do not see the perspective of the teachers when it comes to having these policies, these rules in school. Because I have had a handful of students saying to me, why is this rule here? Why am I not allowed to do this and that? They do not see that there is also a struggle among teachers, among our admin, that we are trying to meet them halfway.
Yeah.
We are trying to compromise so that, of course, we are trying to understand the students. But at the same time, there are specific rules that we need to follow. I think that's one struggle that I have.
I mean, obviously, you mentioned since you're 19, the biggest challenge for you is gaining authority over your students. But how has your challenge as a teacher changed over time?
I think my struggle of that changed because that's when I was starting teaching. And of course, as I grew older, my students are still the same. They are still 16, 17 years old. So our age gaps are getting farther.
Yeah.
So the struggles are changing because before, I can easily understand my students. Because of course, we are of the same age group.
Yeah.
Okay. But maybe in the recent years, it's more difficult because of course they are of a different age group already. So that's one. And maybe recently with a lot of developments in teaching, with a lot of developments in technology, it's also a struggle because of course as a teacher or as a person, you are already used to some routines, to some different strategies. But then of course, it should not be status quo. It changes. So the different changes are actually a struggle. For example, last year you have this year you will have this, or you will add this stretch and all that. It's actually a struggle at, at first because you have to adapt to a new system. So that's actually a struggle that I had recently. Of course, actually right now it's more on gaining motivation because of course teaching for 10 years is not easy. So there are times wherein you will feel that what you're doing is kind of routinary. And there are instances that it's becoming routinary for you. There are instances wherein there's a tendency for me to lose motivation. So that's another struggle. Of course, I have to maintain that motivation because this is what I'm doing, this and I love what I'm doing. So it's more of that gaining motivation because it seems routinary already.
What are ways in which you or other teachers gain motivation, especially when it comes to teaching for many, many years?
That's actually something that I have to figure out. Okay. But maybe we have different motivations. We have, of course, first I need work. I need to earn for myself or my family. That's extrinsic. But intrinsically, Of course, from time to time, I see my students succeed. So when I see students having these awards, those give me motivation to continue.
Absolutely. You mentioned a while ago about change,
Yeah.
especially throughout your 10 plus years of teaching. And one of the changes that education has gone through is obviously the pandemic, with the shift of face to face classes to online learning. So, what was the adjustment like from pre pandemic learning to online distance learning?
It was actually a struggle at the very, very start of the pandemic. It's like learning a new thing.
Yeah.
It's really a struggle for me because it's hard to have that sense of space because my workplace is also the place where I sleep,
Yeah.
the place where I rest. So it's like my workplace is also my home and vice versa. So it's really a struggle at the start. It's a struggle mentally, it's a struggle professionally. So we have a lot of webinars, seminars, and I don't know where to start because the webinars will tell you this, then um, our admins will tell us to do this. So it's quite overwhelming at the very start. During the start of my meetings with my students, I really was honest with them that I'm also struggling. So if ever that they have problems or they have concerns with me, they tell it to me because I want to improve. I want to work better on how I deal with online distance learning. So that's one thing that I did. And then probably another was since I don't have that boundary of space, I made sure that I have a boundary of time. So I made sure that this is my work hours only. So after this, I'll already stop working and do other stuff. So that's one. And actually, at the same time that I was a teacher, I was also a student. So it's also a struggle for me to learn over online distance learning. So it's quite challenging, but yeah, we're here right now. We're both in the post-pandemic era. So we survived that 2, 3 years of the pandemic.
For sure. At any point in time during your teaching career, did you ever consider quitting?
Oh, that's a good question. Did I ever consider quitting? Honestly, yes. Okay. Um, from time to time, it comes up. Because as I mentioned a while ago, there will really come a time wherein you will feel what you're doing is routinary. What you're doing is not worth it.
Mm.
Okay? So there are instances that I will feel that, and yeah, I'll also think of what if I have another work, or what if I try doing this,
Mhm.
this. So yes, I tried of thinking of that, but right now, practically speaking, I don't have yet work in mind, a job in mind. So, and I cannot afford not to have a job. So,
For sure.
so right now, yeah, those are just thoughts. It did not materialize. I did not push through with it. There really are days when you will feel that way. But of course, you just have to think through it because you cannot just decide whenever you're sad, whenever you're feeling down, or whenever you're having high emotions. So whenever I have those thoughts, I just pause. I do whatever stuff that will make me enjoy life and all that. Then just continue with life.
In the recent years, I'm not sure if you've noticed, quite a number of teachers have left the Philippines for better opportunities, and you yourself, you're still staying put here. So, I guess my question to you is, do you think that teachers in the Philippines are valued enough?
Ah.
Another tough question.
Ang hirap naman ng tanong. The question is a tough one. And
I mean, it can also vary because you're teaching in a private school, and your answer
yeah,
might be different from that of a public teacher.
yeah, I know some teachers also from the public schools have family members who are also in the public school. I have yeah, friends who are also in the public schools or in other private institutions in the Philippines. So, are we valued enough in the Philippines? Well, given the fact that they gave the Department of Education one of the lowest budgets, so I would say no, we're not valued enough because our government has other priorities. Our education system is not healthy, it's not good. A lot of our students are having a hard time. We're, I think, one of the last spots in the international achievement tests, like the PISA and all that. So it's actually, I would say that it's not just the Filipino teachers who are undervalued or not valued. It's actually more of the education system in the Philippines. I see why there are teachers from the Philippines who are migrating or moving abroad. One of the reasons is, of course, greener pastures abroad, better paying institutions. But aside from that, I would think that it's also the education system that we have here in the
Yeah.
Philippines. Observing from how the other countries are faring in the education, so I would say that they have better education system. That's why I think a number of teachers are also moving.
It's actually quite a sad reality, honestly.
Yeah.
But hey, you're still here.
Yeah.
What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? Well, what keeps me going is actually probably I still have a lot of goals in mind that I haven't figured out and I have yet to figure out. So right now, I'm still figuring it out, and while I figure it out, I'm here. In the country, I'm teaching.
Mhm.
Well, what keeps me going is really my family. So I work for them. They're the reason that I'm having work. It's kind of cliche or cheesy or
Yeah.
whatever. Of course, the students. Um, mm, well, I think the students that I'm teaching are also what keeps me going
Mhm.
in whatever way they keep me going, whether doing their best in whatever they do. So basically, those are the things that keep me going. Mostly, yun nga, kasi I mentioned a while ago, I'm losing motivation from time to time. But of course, when I remember, of course, my goals, my family, the students that I have, actually, even the community that I have in our school is actually things that keep me going. So we have a good community in our school. There's a good support from my colleagues,
Mhm.
from the admin. So having that support system is very helpful whenever you're feeling down.
And speaking of support system, to those teachers or students who are watching this, what is something that you want them to take away from our conversation?
Well, for the students, just do your best. And despite not excelling while you're younger, maybe you will bloom after you graduate grade school or after you graduate high school. But don't give up and trust yourself, trust the teachers that you have. For my fellow teachers, so I think what I would say is we're all in this together. We might have struggles, different struggles in life, but we're here and we keep on going. So just hang in there and everything will be all right.
Life goes on indeed.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for your
You're
time.
welcome.
You'll be really lucky if you watch the next video, but the problem is, you'll be gone in 5, 4, 3, 2,